And now, let me give you a wing note. All right, cuties, behave. Let me share this screen. There we go. Those of you at the event, can you hear me okay? Wonderful! Can you see the screen that I'm sharing with you today? Yippee! All right. Looking good, feeling good, lovely. Everything is good to go, and I'm making sure the cuties are well behaved on my side. So we will be live. They cannot see you, they can only hear you, okay? So if you were concerned about that, don't worry. They won't be able to see, only to hear. And coordinators at the event, you can see my screen. We're good.
Yeah, you've got a background music that's coming through very low. Is that correct?
Yes, that was just to check and make sure that you could hear it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, since sometimes sounds coming in through OBS are a bit low and need to be adjusted on.
Okay, yep, that was just to make sure that it's there and that it exists. Don't worry, the music doesn't need to be heard for the panel. All right, are we all good to go? If so, then let's get this show on the road! You guys are so cute. That people activate your echolocation? No. Okay, abrupt music stopping. Let's do this. Howdy! And welcome to D. Oh my gosh, my visual for you guys went a little dark, but don't worry. I can still see at least some of you guys today. So let's get this panel started. And for that, of course, we have our handy dandy visuals. Oh wow, look, we're so professional. I'm going to remove my wings for this so that you guys can see a little bit better. Bam. Oh my god, I'm naked. Please, no judge. No judge. It's for your benefit, I promise. Okay, well, hi everybody. Welcome to Help Me D, making music for streaming and distribution. This is a semi-organized nerd rant, proper nerd rant, here we go, on DMCA, safe music, and how I make mine. So today I'm going to walk you through how I approach music for streaming, for stream. I know, you might think, aren't those the same thing? I'll get to that. And how to actually distribute your music. I'm mostly going to be using my own experience, but I'm going to give you... I'm going to be giving you lots of tools to do even more than I did, especially if you want to skip all of the scary parts. All right, let's get to it. So first and foremost, music is your secret weapon. It is a powerful tool for streaming. Content engagement studies have shown that having some kind of low volume background noise, such as music, at around -35 decibels helps keep your audience engaged, and this is even when you're not actively interacting with chat. Also, hi, Mistora, welcome! Music can help set your mood. It can also enhance emotional response to what you're doing, and it serves to strengthen your brand. Yes, when you use this in alignment with the type of content that you want to be streaming, the kind of stuff that you want to create. So, like, is your stream going to be comfortable, cozy, and inviting? Play some comfortable, cozy, and inviting music. Is it going to be chaotic or retro, ethereal? Your background music can help tell a story without you needing to utter a single word. This might come as a no-brainer to some people, but mentioning it just in case you didn't even think to consider that. All right, so today I'm going to break this musical talk down into 3 parts, okay? Choosing music for your live stream, that's background music, hence the stream part. Music for vibes and a streaming playlist, there's the streaming part. And lastly, how to make and distribute your own original music on audio platforms. This is quite a bit, and I feel like this is the part that most people want to get to, so I'll try to get through the first two as quickly as possible while still being succinct on my points. First, we're going to talk about stream and streaming music. I mentioned this before, but when I say stream, I'm referring to background music while you are live. This is music you can play while you are middle content creation. And I'm briefly going to go over how in OBS you ensure it's on a separate audio track so that it won't be heard on your VOD. We are going to talk about DMCA today. And then I also mentioned how music can be a powerful tool to set your environment, right? Music is also a huge point of contention with DMCA laws. So we do have to talk about the scariest part of music, which is, of course, DMCA. Now, because this is a lot of information, I am recording this. It will be put up on YouTube later. Just in case you were like, AD, I'm already going cross-eyed. Don't worry. You can review. There will be a test. No, there will not be a test. If you have streamed on YouTube, you have probably seen these big red dollar signs slashed out. This is one of the many key visuals that are identifiers of copyright present audio in your content. And if you have too many of these copyright flags, what happens is you can't monetize videos. And if you have monetization, they can be demonetized. Pun not intended. They can be blocked, they can be muted, and this is all for YouTube. On Twitch, it's a little more chill, but not by much. And this is because your videos of the day, your VODs, do not live very long on Twitch. So they get a little more lax with the DMCA policy. If DMCA audio is detected at all, your VODs will be auto-muted on Twitch. So at those points in the VOD, you don't get a choice. Just bam, all the audio gone, no matter what. Hi, welcome to D-Boneless. It's fun to say at the DMCA. No, it's not, Amok. We're trying to avoid the DMCA. Okay? So what can we do to fix this? Because while YouTube has an editor tool, you have to go through... Hi, Miss Dora. You have to go through all of your audio one by one and remove it from your content. And that is a pain in the butt. So let's fix this. You can do that one of two ways, okay? The first way is we make sure that... Here, I'm gonna grab something nice and big and red. So we're talking entirely about the VOD track. So we can make sure that your VOD track has absolutely no music underneath it whatsoever. So we don't let music touch the VOD track. This includes anything that might potentially have DMCA audio in it. So alerts, if you use those, or streaming services. The other is to make sure that we're using DMCA free audio. So DMCA, we're free. Writing with a mouse is painful. Ah! So this is 1 and this is 2. 1 is don't touch the VOD. Don't even look at it with music or audio. And the other is make sure you've got the right sources. I like this one best, but because having a completely blank VOD track means people can steal your audio and turn you into an AI robot. Let's not do that. However, in case you want to know how to do that, we will run through the how do I just remove all the audio, because that is one of the options. Okay, I mentioned that having BGM helps you retain an audience as well. It's a lot less inviting to listen to a completely dead or silent VOD. If you want your VOD watch hours on YouTube, you're better off going for number 2 route, so using DMCA free music. We are going to talk about both, and I'm going to start off with ensuring how music or DMCA audio does not touch the VOD track. I have made a tutorial on this before. It's on my YouTube channel playlist for, very important, gorgeous goddesses don't gatekeep. Yes. There's a whole series of stuff that I'm putting together for creators there, so you can find that on YouTube, D to Sphinx. Pretty easy. Hi, I'm D, if you didn't know. Okay, but here's the quick and dirty for how to do all of that. In OBS, I'm gonna scoot over a smidge. All we're gonna need to do to actually get there is we're gonna navigate to our settings, okay? So in OBS, we go to our settings, then we're gonna go to our output. Making sure that we're in the advanced output mode, we're then gonna navigate to the streaming tab, and underneath streaming, we're going to purposefully select 2 different tracks. The top track, the audio track, this is your live audio feed. While you are streaming, anything that is active on track 1 is going to be heard. That's what that means. Then make sure you enable the second track. This will either say Twitch VOD or YouTube, depending on which platform you have set up as your profile in OBS. And here, this is going to be the VOD feed. I'm selecting number 2 here. So that means anything that also is active on channel 2 will be something that the audience can hear in the VOD. This is the one we're going to uncheck or deactivate for audio sources that might have some sort of DMCA audio on them. So again, any audio source that's active on track 1, we will be able to hear that while you're live. And 2, you can hear it in the VOD. We then save, exit, and we go to any scene in OBS with audio sources in it. We're gonna right-click or click the 3 dots on any audio source whatsoever to get to this advanced audio properties menu. What we're going to do here is we're gonna choose which tracks each of the audio sources is gonna be assigned to. I go over this a little bit more on my tutorial, but all you need to know is anything that's unchecked here will not be on the VOD. If you use browser music, if you use sound alerts, if you have a headphone audio source that captures your music, you uncheck that here on box 2, okay? Because that's how we set up our audio in the previous screen. So this way, anything that's while you're live is gonna be active on track 1, okay? If you want a slower walkthrough, again, there's the tutorial on my YouTube channel. Okay, this is a lot. But what if you don't want to mess with all that? Okay, D, holy crap. What if I just want to have whatever music I want without having to worry about separating it? Because dang, that looks really complicated. And my eyes have already gone cross-eyed from all of the things on the screen. It's okay, don't worry, D's got you. Let me introduce you to DMCA Safe Audio Resources. Yes. Okay. If you have been in this streaming space for a bit and no one's told you about Dova syndrome, your friends are gatekeeping, and that's rude. Dova syndrome, located at dova-s.jp. This is a Japanese website. In fact, all of these are Japanese websites. But they have an amazing variety of music. Most is free to use so long as you are crediting the artist or Dova syndrome themselves. And the best part about this wonderful site is you can commission the artists directly from the website. So if you find music you like, you can go, oh my God, I love your music. Can I commission something original for you? Then there is Amacha Music, another Japanese site. Use right-click on the website. Most browsers will allow you to translate it, or Google Translate, and you're golden here. There's also Zuki. They request that you credit all artists. That's all, and then you can use anything from their site. And then Peritune. I want to mention Peritune because some of the site tracks have different versions. So if you like a good leitmotif, where you take a song and then you have a different version of it, you can go right ahead and find an 8-bit or orchestral version of the same song on Peritune if you're trying to build the ambiance. It's really nice. Also, don't forget to search up Vtuber assets, Vtuber BGM on Twitter, Blue Sky for background tracks. Some folks will drop BGM packs with no strings attached, but always check your licenses to be safe. So, gentle recap here. So far, I briefly touched on why does BGM matter, the DMCA danger zone. Also, hi, Master Jericho, welcome to D. They say hi to everyone at Youmacon. The Youmaconians. It's so cute. I've talked about how to keep your VOD safe. There's more on YouTube. And then where to find free, safe music. All of this is a bunch of sources that you can use for stream to make BGM with. But what about streaming? So this is the music that plays in big playlists in the background. What if I wanted to put on some music while I'm doing art? Or if you're in a big focus or a yap session and you don't just want one song repeating in the background, you have a few options. You could certainly go ahead and take songs from any one of these sites and then put those into a playlist to run it locally on OBS. But that's really resource intensive. Not everyone has time to create a playlist. So next, let me talk about pre-curated streaming playlist options. Some of these are paid, some of them are free. We like free here. So if you want curated playlists, here are some great services. Pretzel Rocks, they have both paid and free options. Epidemic Sound, this one is paid. There's also Soundstripe, which has a Twitch extension now. Monster Cat, their gold site, has a bunch of free available playlists. Chill Hop, they're pretty well known for good lo-fi tracks. And then ncs.io. These are especially great for playlists, especially. This is for like while you're doing chatting, drawing, or your regular hangout hours. Spotify also has some streamer-safe playlists. Some of them, the sites I mean, offer you a free trial or free versions of these services. But here's a kicker. Did you know that any music published before 1923 is public domain? That's right. Public domain songs you can play without worrying about DMCA. This is the vintage 1920s style with that warm, fuzzy record player feel. And the best part is almost none of these songs are going to get you in trouble. Well, they shouldn't, unless they've been reused and relicensed by a popular artist today. You can worry-free use scratchy vintage jazz and swing tracks for some really cool ambiance. And the best 100% guaranteed way to ensure you won't get in trouble for music, of course, is to make it yourself. Let's talk about the reason most of you are likely here. We finally got to it. You've been so patient. Good job. I'm very proud of you. Music distribution. Here, we're going to go through the quick rundown of how I create music, and then I'm going to walk you through the process as succinctly as possible for how we would go about getting this music onto different platforms for streaming. That's the distribution part, just getting it on multiple platforms. There are 3 parts to making a song, at least for me as a vocalist. You make an instrumental, put it together with the vocals, so that involves mix, master, tune, and time, and then distributing the music out onto the internet. Easy, right? So for my instrumentals, I have used loops that I made myself using Ableton. I have Ableton Lite. It is complicated. It's very scary. There's not a lot of streamlined tutorials for my spicy brain. I can only make baby loops. Look at all of these mother friggin' boxes. This is frightening. But we do our best. I've also used Soundtrap. They have a paid and free version and a very big audio library. But again, lots of boxes, a little spoopy. This one's a little more user-friendly. That was a loss of experience. You are correct, Miss Tora. It is a lot of boxes. I know. It's frightening. Their primary library is for hip-hop music, and I spent ages listening, scrolling, sampling to find what I wanted, and then starring all the things that I would then use to come back to make sounds from. But it does work. You can also only export from the free versions using a less than stellar audio quality. And most of my instrumentals, if I exported them, they would sound really heavily artifacted. So I would be trying to tackle Ableton instead because I can export with a better quality. I did pay for Ableton, and I should probably learn how to use a DAW. So in the future, we'll try to do this better. Please pray for future me. And then, of course, there's my secret weapon. Commissions! The secret is just paying someone to do it for you. That's right. All of my money goes to my queens of music, Tomo Aries and Milky-chan, because I adore the way that they create instrumentals. These are the two most musically talented women I know, and they're maniacs when it comes to mix and master. Tomo's style, I believe she has a more keen ear for standard pop, punk, industrial, vintage, rock instrumentals. Whereas Milky-chan is my go-to girl for EDM, techno, house, orchestral. The music I've worked with her on, it feels very ethereal. So in my brain, she fits a variety of different electronic music styles. It is so important if you're looking to commission specifically. Well, go back. We're not done. If you're looking to commission specifically, that you go and interact with a variety of instrumentalists, because you're going to want certain people on hand for different types of music, okay? In order to create music, you need to have different instruments or instrument packs to actually make sounds. The DAW, the Digital Audio Workbench, that's what DAW stands for, they don't come with every sound you need when you install them. And you have to buy VST packs of instruments to make more sounds. All of this costs a lot of money. If you want to make your own music, you'll learn to seek out and hunt down different VST plugins for those instruments. Ultimately, it is cheaper to do this than buying and learning to, say, play the saxophone. If you've never played the saxophone, this is a real story. I tried and I was able to learn the drums faster. But anywho, sometimes it's just smarter to leave this part to the professionals, making the instrument sounds. Instead, how I've done this is I've told Tomo or Milky-chan about the song that I have in mind. Even better, I used to hum a few bars, put it together in some layers with my own voice, send it their way, to eventually create the instrumental that makes that sound. So in summary here, if you can't play an instrument, you can record it and make it using loops, layered vocal sounds, or fake it and send it to a pro and commission them to make it much cleaner. So on to Audacity. Pray for me. When it comes to recording vocals, I use Audacity. Yes, anyone who hears that is going to go, D, what's wrong with you? You're insane. Yes, I know. But it works. Are there better DAWs out there specifically for vocal recording? Yes, I know. But this is what I'm used to, and I'm scared to change, and also it's free. Most audio workbenches are not free. We like free. Free is good. So I've used Audacity to record my vocals, and I also record layered vocals to mimic instruments. And then I ask Tomo or Milky-chan to make it do the thing. I'm not joking. I will say, Milky-chan, I want the bass line to go like and I will do that. Be like, can you make it do that? And then add like a I do that for my music. That is how we make music. I do it with the mouth holes. And the mouth flaps make the sounds, and the sounds make it go and do the thing. And then she's like, oh, I got you. And she works her magic and creates me a bass track that works. What do you mean, Varric from The Legend of Korra? Oh my god, you guys. Okay? I layer my voice tracks as a reference. And then all of the audio, I can export it in a mono.wav file. This is a very nice, crispy audio quality. We want to give our people .wav files. Once we've done this, either for vocals for a cover song or for a, hey, please make an instrumental that sounds like XYZ, I send it to those producers. Yes. Next time, yes. Julie, do the thing, correct. That is how I use my producers. I have them then mix and master to balance the volumes, blend the tracks, tune time, the audio rhythm alignment, if it needs it. According to Tomo, she's almost never had to tune me, except a little bit, which is nice. We learned to sing on key. I told you I'm a chorus girl. Let's go. And then once the song has been given to your professional to mix it, master it, sometimes another person comes in to actually do like tuning and timing. But once it's finished, you're ready to distribute the song. Distribute the song? Oh God, how do we do that? So here, we get to talk about the music industry. To get your music onto a streaming platform, you have to go to a distributor. You cannot just directly upload it to Spotify, Apple Music, etc. This is the part that most people don't talk to you about. And I really think it's worth mentioning and documenting that in order to get your songs out onto a platform, you need an account with one of, and there's many distributors out there. Distributors are the companies that they push your music out onto the internet. And they make sure that it gets recorded in this big, horrible mess that is all music that has ever been digitized. They process your licenses. And then, so music making is a gigantic mess. It is one of, if not the most horrendous messes on the internet. It's like the least streamlined commercial entity, aside from maybe the American government. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about how. They have to do all of these steps to make your music exist online. And doing all of this yourself is nearly impossible with the way... Sevi, don't click that, oh my God. With the way current music management systems exist. It is so much better to sign up and go through a distributor. And this is one of the only ways that we can actually get music out there. So I recommend using CD Baby. It only costs you $10 to list a song. It's cheap, it's simple, and it's no nonsense. There's also DistroKid, there's Emu Bands, Record Union, Route Note, Amuse, Sound On. There's a few others, but I've used Route Note and I've used CD Baby. They have a freemium model where there's some bells and whistles you can pay for if you want to and otherwise distribute it, but it does take a little longer, I've found, to get sounds out. CD Baby is cut, dry, simple, easy. And you will log into the platform, create an account just like you would anywhere, and then you're going to link some kind of checking or other banking account to it on the off chance you get enough listens to actually make money. They will make sure that you get paid. It's part of why you pay to list music or pay for their extra services. So you'll find a distributor you like, make an account, and then what you're going to do next is part of the distribution process. So the distributor will handle licensing of your song, registering your song, processing payments to you, and all of the headaches that go into ensuring your song is properly tagged with metadata wherever it lives online. All you need to provide is your finished .wav file song, a thumbnail, and that's usually 3000 by 3000 pixels. Make it nice and pretty. You can also provide your MV, and they'll take like the first 30 seconds and loop it for you. If you have an MV, you can provide that. They like .mp4s. You'll also need your name as an artist to create your account under, and then filling out a profile for the song. You'll also need information on revenue split. This is especially if you worked with a producer. So you have the song sitting in your hand waiting to be distributed. You upload it to one of the platforms we mentioned on the previous slide. And what we're going to do from here, I'm going to use CD Baby for an example. You upload the song there, you supply your thumbnail art, it's got to be nice and big. Then you're also going to give them a bit of an MV if you have one. It will cost you $10 to list the song. But while they're listing and distributing it, they're also doing all of this for you, which is insane to try and figure out how to do it yourself. You will also select all the platforms that you want to have access to your music. They'll give you a checkbox, and there's a nice little check all, and it will just push it everywhere. SoundCloud, Apple Music, YouTube Music, it will do that for you, which is nice. But as if this wasn't complicated enough, you also have to check boxes for revenue sharing. Unless you paid money for an exclusive split of music, you are going to need to make sure that everyone gets paid. I like to ensure that revenue sharing is on so that if people listen to the music while they're live, they can do a split revenue and they don't get DMCA flagged. So I can make a couple of cents off of them listening to my music, and they can still monetize their content. In this process, make sure you've checked with the instrumentalist to make sure that you've paid if you have those exclusive rights to the song or not. Otherwise, you have to list them as the primary for revenue split, and there's usually a percentage you give them. Like they get a 70, you get a 30% cut. It's a lot of boxes to check, but once you've done it twice, it's not as difficult to go through the process. It's very hard to make money doing music. A lot of stuff goes into making it up front, but if it brings you joy, that can be what you fund streaming back into. More joy. You load this information up then. Legends. The legalese has to be respected. You are correct. Yes. Load all of this up, snippet of a thumbnail or an MV, boom, it's off to distribution. Then it takes about 2 weeks to go live. Remember this. You will want to plan ahead of time if you want to have a nice big launch party that also includes telling people, hey, you can now go listen to it on all of these platforms. So give yourself time for that. Something else you might want to consider when you distribute music, and this is showing up on my page, but it's not showing up for you. This is so weird. I can see it, but you can't. There's an image here. I swear, it's an image of Dee's profile on Spotify. But something else you might want to consider when you distribute music on your own is your own profile. And that's what it looks like on the distribution site. Sometimes Spotify or other sites like YouTube Music will make one for you, but most will not. You want to check your profile, market yourself, put up a banner, a profile image, so that people can actually see you and listen to the stuff you make as it gets released. You're going to want to brand your artist page, be professional, and don't forget to clean it up. Do you actually need to do this? No. Is it a pain in the butt? Yeah. But will it help bring all of your listeners together and connect your brand if you create your profile and make it nice? Also, yes. It's not necessary, but it is professional. Except for the fact that the image isn't showing up. It's just one more way to align your brand, your vibes, and your music and your style. Okay, the recap. Whew! Are your eyes spinning yet? There's a lot. And I mean a lot that goes into putting together music. So to summarize, I covered streaming background music. So this is the music to set your mood, vibe, and your brand. I've given you some of my preferred sites for choosing background music for stream, free and paid resources. We talked about avoiding DMCA by using free or paid safe music, as well as how to ensure that tracks aren't going to be able to touch the VOD if they have DMCA sources. There's more of that on YouTube, of course. I introduced you to a few sites for background playlists, okay? And now you know that public domain music can be used worry-free for streaming. I covered separating those tracks in OBS. Don't forget, there's a tutorial on YouTube. And finally, we covered very briefly how I make and how you can share your music by distributing it onto the musical internet. So we talked about distributors. I recommend CD Baby or Route Note. Those will help you get your music out there. You will have to pay to list songs. And then the final piece of information I just wanted to leave you with is that music creation, it takes time and lots of love. And yes, it's a pain in the butt, but it is very, very doable. Okay? Thank you so much for your patience. And I hope that this was helpful. Before I send you off and tell you to have a wonderful rest of your day, I am going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. And those of you watching live here while we're streaming, you can absolutely ask questions in chat and I will get to them. So here you may, if you have questions. Otherwise you can go, my head is spinning, I have no questions, okay, thanks, bye. And don't worry, this will be up on YouTube later.
Yeah, I'm going to turn on the ring light, so watch your eyes.
Okay. Hello!
What? Who said that? Oh, hold on. I know what the problem is. Let me get out this magnifying glass.
Oh my
Oh, there
Put
you
the
are.
magnifying glass away! How dare! Rude!
It's Gumpy, by the way.
Hi, Gumper the Rumper, send the first! Bro!
So, I wanted to know, have you
Yes.
eaten today, D?
I did. I
Really?
had breakfast before stream. Thank you for checking. Caught in 4K by my mods. That's all you wanted to ask, you dang goober! But also legendary use of your time. Snap, snap, snap. They're all saying hi, Gumpy. Gumpy opens fire. Gumpy, no way. I can put you guys on screen. Why don't I just do that? D has a sideways thing. Here you go. Now you can see them. Did anybody have any questions every time? No questions? You want to know? Hi, welcome to D. We just finished my little presentation. Do you guys have any questions on how to do music? How do you even music? I told you. Now you know the secrets. Now you can go forth and take over the world. No? I promise I don't bite. Or I do, though. That's a lie. Don't want to know nothing? I can now continue to stare at you awkwardly. Was it too thorough? Gumpy voice reveal, holy moly, surprised you? You're taking your notes? Okay, Ariel, that's fine. Yeah, I found that the hardest part is just filling out the list for the distribution. That was the most difficult part of putting music out there. You're gonna have to go back. That's fine, Sevi. You can always. I will put this up on YouTube so that it's easy to find. Oh, it's okay. I will read you. They don't have to. I will read you. Oh, Gumpy Azarios says your voice is hot. Take the compliment. There you go. No question. I can just set you guys free then. I can do okay, thanks, bye, and yeet myself into karaoke. If you guys did not know, D very much turns into karaoke streams constantly. I take my yapathons and break out into song whenever the music mood strikes me. Sometimes you have to just break out into song. I mean, that doesn't happen for everyone, but it happens for D. But also, unfortunately, you guys won't be able to hear the audio if I decide to do that at the convention because it's so quiet. Or when it's requested, you're correct. Hello and welcome.
All right. You did cover it. You did give us a lot to chew on here and to kind of investigate on our own if we wanted. For me, it's like yeah. Like I've kind of like I gotta have a background more of like engineering, and I'm more of like a software engineering, but then I went and gotten a game production degree to learn how to make art for games and stuff, so that I know what I'm dealing with. And so basically, sound, like music and sound, were basically the only aspect I haven't really touched much myself.
Ooh.
But
on my resource list, absolutely check out Perrytune. This one's great. If gaming is your angle, Perrytune and Amacha Music have lots of resources that make for good ambiance, and they're tagged as ambiance and background music.
And I've kind of turned a lot of my skills towards VTubing now.
Oh yeah.
It's honestly, it's a pretty fun little hobby that isn't like the commitment towards making a whole game or anything.
Yes.
But yeah, if you I guess the other thing I could ask is like if you had any an interesting story from getting some music together that you might want to share with us here.
Oh man, the very first song I ever created, I created when I was in a place of like big hurt, and I used music to express those feelings. I ended up not being able to release it as soon as I had wanted to because my model took so long to come to life. When I was trying to debut, I had 4 riggers tell me that they either couldn't, wouldn't, and one tried to scam me out of rigging my model. It took months to come to life, and by the time that song was prepared, I was just a little blob cat. And a horrible, dramatic incident was uncovered by the Vtuber news by our lovely favorite Purple Guy False. Everyone heard that song because I wanted to play that message for my girls. From a world that I've left behind. And a lot of people said that the song that I wrote resonated with them. It's Somewhere There's Magic. If you haven't heard it, please try and give it a listen. It's out on YouTube Music, on Spotify, etc. Somewhere There's Magic is a song I wrote when I was in a very sad, scary place, and it was supposed to be a message for my girlies that I never got to deliver. But yeah, there's my music story. Since then, it has helped people find D, as well as it has been a source of comfort for me, and it's got a good steady pace for jog training. So I can use it as background music when I work out. There's my story.
All right, that's about all I had. I could kind of pull out.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're curious about music, but you don't have questions until you start poking? This is true. Sometimes we won't have any questions, and we won't know what to ask until we finally get there. Music is a rabbit hole of learning all kinds of different skills and what you can and cannot do. And I do wish that YouTube made it easier to remove DMCA flagged music, because if you have any copyright music on a VOD, it will only let you remove one at a time. It's a pain in the patootie. So I recommend following a tutorial like the one that I talked about today for ensuring any audio source that has potential copyright music, making sure that that will be on a separate track, or removing it entirely from the VOD. Boy, howdy is it ever. Sevi, what's your challenge with music? What have you been trying to work on? I see you mentioned that in chat. Are you trying to create cover songs, or are you just trying to find cool music for stream? Aw, Darlerian, thank you. You sing along to it in the car. That's so sweet. Tell me, I am listening. I flap at you. And to those of you who have never seen D before, yes, I am broken. We are Dilahan for Halloween, but also because my rigging was not done. So we're duct taped together with hopes and dreams. You haven't done anything with music in years, but you remember the struggle when you tried to? I recall in the very beginning of my content creation journey, trying to find music that fit a brand. And I was like, can I just get all these songs that I love and put them together? But if you look at popular VTuber corporations like HoloLive, which are what are setting some of the standards for how we all operate, you'll notice that they all kind of use the same music. A good chunk, if not all of them, do find their music from Dova Syndrome, which was the first resource that I mentioned. There are playlists out there that point out which artists they use on Dova, and you can also use that music for free, which is very nice. I have also reached out to at least 2 musical artists from Dova Syndrome to commission background music. It's nice because it's just their living portfolio right on Dova Syndrome. So I can't recommend this enough. I'll keep this one up here because more people need access to DMCA safe and free music resources. Okay, but if there are no other questions, then I will set you all free so that your brains can decompress. Pun intended. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your D. Oh god, and then I broke. Yay, the scuff! Okay, I'll set you guys free for what's the next panel? What are they gonna deal with next? That's to Youmacon staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a note for today, the last panel for the day, Trua, she's really sick and she's not going to be able to she's not going to be able to run her panel.
No.
We apologize for that, but we would prefer that she get well as opposed to
Yeah.
try to power through it. Before Dee the Sphinx heads out, let's all give her a big applause.
Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate it.